Caitlyn Collins is suing her ex-boyfriend, Gabriel Womac, for unpaid loans, harassment, and a false police report. Gabriel is counter-suing for extortion, theft, and threats.
Ms. Collins, you claim a couple of loans to the defendant who was your boyfriend at the time. He's no longer your boyfriend. You want your money. Mr. Womac says that not only didn't he accept the loan from you, but he says that when you split up, you kept his belongings and refused to give him his belongings until he paid you this money. He was forced to hire a lawyer, and he's got a counterclaim. And the counterclaim is for the expenses he went through, who he can demonstrate to me in order to retrieve his property, which he ultimately did because you can't keep his property. When and why did you make your first loan to Mr. Womac?
In December 13th. He asked for a sum of money initially.
How much?
$2,000 was the initial sum that he had asked for.
Just a second. And you said to him
that I would loan it to him on promise of repayment.
Show me the check.
I don't have a check.
Well, because you're a smart lady, you have a checking account. Mm-hmm. Then you write a check, and on the check you say, a loan. You don't have that.
Correct. You're right. I do have in text message where he promised to repay the money that he borrowed from me several times.
Just a second.
Okay.
Do you have a text message where he promised to repay you $2,000?
I have promised for repayment of $3,500.
When was that text message?
That text message was on June 9th, where he promised to make arrangements.
Just a second.
Sorry.
And you made that loan to him in December?
Correct.
And on what date did you file your small claims case?
It was in the middle of June. It was June 19th, around
June 19th?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, let's deal with me. Just pay careful attention to me. It's going to get harder, not easier.
Okay.
Now, after 6 months, what prompted you, just a couple of days after the text, to file a small claims case?
Immediately following his promise to pay, he started harassing me and filed a police report against me that turned out to be false, and then said that he owed me alleged money and that he no longer owed me any money. So that is what prompted me to go to small claims court to get my money back.
So he filed a harassment case against you. Is that what you're telling me? That I would like to see.
Filed, yes, I have it right here.
I'd like to see it.
Okay. Oh.
I'm going to tell you this, folks. I'm sending you back to small claims court.
Okay.
You go back to small claims court with these documents.
Okay.
Okay? Maybe they'll believe you. I don't. Goodbye.
Step out.
I just watched The Boys Season 5 finale, and honestly, I am a little bit disappointed. Not just in the episode itself, but in the fact that this was supposed to be the finale to the entire show. This was the ending they spent 5 seasons building toward, and instead of feeling satisfied, I'm sitting here wondering how this is the big finish we waited all this time for. Now, I'm not going to do a scene-by-scene breakdown of every single thing that happened. I just want to talk about the main things I need to get off my chest, because there were definitely some moments that worked, but overall, this finale left me feeling pretty underwhelmed. So, I'm going to break down the pros and cons of this episode, starting off with the good, because there really is not that much of it. Getting straight into it, Homelander's death was actually pretty satisfying. I think everyone here watching knew Butcher was going to be the one to kill Homelander. But the real question was never who kills Homelander. The real question was how well would they execute it. And watching Butcher put belt to arses on a de-hourred Homelander was extremely satisfying, and I'm glad that they went down that route. Seeing Homelander of all people begging for his life like a complete coward was exactly the kind of ending he deserved. Now, before anybody says, "Oh, that was lame," he went out like a doofus just moaning and groaning. And I think that's the entire point, because even when Homer had powers, he always acted like a giant toddler. So, when you strip away the powers and the God complex, what is left? Just a scared little man. And I also loved that Butcher used the crowbar just like in the comics when he squeezed open his head and then knocked out his brains. It gave the scene that extra full circle feeling, especially for fans who read the comics. And another thing that was really satisfying in the show was the Deep's death. This one was well deserved for Starlight, and honestly, it had been building for 5 seasons. And dare I say it, this death was almost as hyped up for me as Butcher vs. Homelander. Now, maybe that is just me, because I really enjoyed the Deep as a character, but whatever. And the way Starlight took him out was perfect. If you remember in episode 7, the sea life basically banned him from the water. They made it clear that if he ever stepped foot back in the ocean, he was done. So, after Starlight ran through the peak and beat his ass, she gave him the most iconic ending possible. She fed him to the sea life, and then he got boned right in the bum by an octopus, which mirrored Adam's death from episode 5, Black Oar's acting coach. And lastly, I really did like Butcher's fate, because the truth is, in Butcher's mind, nothing is ever truly enough. Even after he killed Homelander, he still wanted more. And that is the tragedy of this character. Revenge was never going to bring Becca back, and it was definitely never going to fix him. So Butcher dying felt pretty inevitable in the show. He was a broken man who sometimes tried to do the right thing, but he was just too far gone to ever get a real happy ending. Now, I'm glad that he killed Homelander, and he won the war, but his character never looked like he'd be the one to chill on the beach, cracking beers, with the sun shining in the background. Now, let's get into what I'm actually upset about with this finale. There was no complete and utter destruction. And that is probably my biggest issue, because the show advertised this finale like we were about to witness the end of the world. You guys remember that one image of Homelander in space, looking down at Earth, while it looked like the entire world was basically exploding underneath him? Yeah, we did not get anything even remotely close to that. I was expecting the finale to pay off what Homelander talked about all the way back in Season 3. Even in the scene when Starlight threatened to release the Flight 37 video, Homelander straight up told her that if the world turned against him, he would take out the nerve centers, the White House, the Pentagon, critical infrastructure, and then wipe New York right off the map. And he even said way much more that he would do. But we didn't get that remotely at all. Nothing close, at least. There was really no sense that the world was completely collapsing and everything was getting destroyed. All the lights went out in the world because all the critical infrastructure just got torn apart. No. The closest thing that we got to that was Homelander's death being streamed on live TV. Like, I don't know, man. To me, that just kind of felt pretty underwhelming, because this is Homelander with V1 we're talking about. I wanted an almost analog horror type vibe for this episode. And to give you guys an example of that, have you seen this video right here? Now, I'm not going to show the whole thing, because I think it is genuinely amazing. So, if you want to go see it for why,